Román Torres returns and how to crack the Quakes' back line coming up on the Quest Diagnostics Scouting Report. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Quest Diagnostics Scouting Report. Good health starts with knowing. This is Steve Zakuani. I'm Nick Firchau. We're previewing the Seattle Sounders' first game back from the international break. They're on the road on Saturday night at Avaya Stadium to take on the San Jose Earthquakes. Kickoff 7:30 p.m. Pacific. It's on Joe TV as well as Univision Seattle, or if you're not near a TV, check it out on the radio. Cairo 97.3 FM and El Rey 1360 AM. Big match for the Seattle Sounders coming up on the weekend after the international break, where a number of players played abroad with their national teams, including Román Torres, who played with Panama in the first of their two games in the World Cup qualifiers. Got some good minutes with Panama and got some good minutes with the Seattle Sounders last time out against the Portland Timbers a couple weeks ago, 45 minutes off the bench. His first game in nearly a year. The return of Román Torres. What does he bring to the Sounders?
You know, Nick, there's some players who, just by being on their field, their presence makes the team better. And especially defensive players. When you have a towering centre back with that kind of physical presence, who's very commanding in his play, who strikes fear into the opponent's offensive players, that's what you get in Román Torres. Very, very quick. Doesn't look it, but he's very, very quick. His timing of his challenges is very good. His clearances are very good. Doesn't just slump the ball upfield. Tries to pick people out. Very good in the air also. And obviously his size. You can't buy that kind of size. The size he has, Román Torres, it allows the Sounders to be intimidating defensively. And I think having him back there, it makes the players around him better. Chad Marshall's better, the right back becomes better, and the left back becomes better. And just as a team overall, the Sounders become more defensively sound.
And a real emotional lift for the Sounders to see Torres come back after suffering that ACL injury about a year ago. So quite an uplift for the Sounders as Román Torres returns to the lineup, and a good week to potentially get his first start for the Sounders. They're going up against one of the worst offenses in the league against the Quakes. Let's take a look at some of the numbers for the Earthquakes. Yes, the least effective offense in the league this year. They've got the fewest goals scored, 26 goals this year. The Sounders all the way down at 14th, but still doing a lot better than the Quakes. And for San Jose, fewest shots on goal in MLS, just 93. And Chris Wondolowski, who's been a Sounders killer over the years, has gone ice cold in recent weeks. Just 2 goals in 10 games since coming back from the Copa America Centenario. Had a great start to the year, 7 goals in the first 8 games. And the Quakes have scored more than 2 goals just once this year. The only other team to do that is the Colorado Rapids. Now, Steve, why are the Quakes still in the playoff hunt? Well, it's because of their defense. That's a Dominic Kinnear signature. Take a look at some of the defensive numbers here. 3rd fewest goals allowed in MLS at 29. 2nd fewest goals allowed at home in MLS. Just 8 goals allowed at Avaya this year. They really, really protect that home turf. And David Bingham, one of the rising stars with the U.S. national team in the goalkeeping group, 2nd in MLS in goals allowed average and save percentage. So you take a look at that Quakes backline and what they've been able to do, even with a struggling offense. How do you crack that back line and put some goals on the board?
You know, on paper, San Jose Earthquakes' defensive numbers have been very good. However, if you watch them closely, you'll see that there are some things they're very vulnerable to. And one of those things is the through ball. And the Sounders have a player in Nicholas Lodeiro who is a master at playing that final pass. San Jose Earthquakes struggle when there are runners making good runs in behind them, and there's a good number 10 who can pick those guys out. And the Sounders, their playing style, especially since Lodeiro came on board, lends itself to that kind of offense. Jordan Morris making these runs in behind. I expect to see him at the weekend doing that time after time, and for Lodeiro to be able to find him. The Earthquakes struggled when they played against Columbus. They struggled against New England. Those two teams were able to find passes in behind because of Higuain and because of Lee Nguyen. And Lodeiro is in that mode. So if he can bring his game where he shows up all over the field, gets on the ball, and Jordan Morris is ready to run and run hard in behind, I think the Sounders, that's their game plan. Play through passes in behind that San Jose backline, get them turning, facing their own goal, and they really do struggle with that.
Second matchup of the year between these two teams. Remember, the Sounders beat the Earthquakes earlier in the spring. We'll see if they can get a win on the road at Avaya Stadium on Saturday. Again, kickoff 7:30 p.m. Pacific. It's on Joe TV as well as Univision Seattle, or on the radio, Cairo 97.3 FM and El Rey 1360 AM. For Steve Zakuani, I'm Nick Firchau. Thanks for watching the Scouting Report.